This program does not represent the views of this station and may be considered offensive to some listeners. This program may contain mature subject matter, including frank discussions of controversial topics. It is intended for mature, open-minded audiences. Discretion is highly advised. This program is entirely independently produced by and is copyrighted by Frank. It is broadcast here under license.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles. And I'm Frank, because I have to be. We've got a wonderful show for you today. In studio, we have a lovely person, Linda, the sexy hypnotist. Welcome to Frank Talks, Linda.
Thank you, Frank.
And without further ado, I'm going to read this little introduction here about Linda, the sexy hypnotist. Linda is a trained hypnotherapist and certified NLP Master Practitioner who specializes in hypnotic transformations. Just like in stage hypnosis shows where a volunteer might be told, at the count of 3 you'll be Madonna, her clients get transformed. A typical client would be a male who wants to hallucinate his body feels and looks just like Britney Spears. As in the movie Total Recall, the client would then live out an adventure in an all-natural form of virtual reality, transformed into a woman. Linda will explain how hypnosis can produce such incredible experiences, and you can find out more at her website, which is http://adult.hypnoticwishes.com. Is that about right, Linda?
That's exactly right.
Yay! All right, let's start, and in typical fashion, we're going to ask you a little bit about your past. Where were you born, and anything about your upbringing as it relates to our topic at hand, which is hypnotic transformations.
I was born in Montreal, and I went to school first in French, then in English. I was in my high school newspaper team for the high school paper. I did theater in high school. I really like to show off. I like to perform, singing, or all that kind of thing. Then I studied science in CEGEP, and I went to Concordia, first in psychology, because I really find people's minds interesting, and I want to be able to help them as well. Now, what happened is I took a year and realized that, according to my psychology teacher from there, the effectiveness of different therapy methods depended more on the client's belief than on the actual content of the method. So as long as you believed whatever your therapist was doing and the person was reasonably competent, then you got the change you want. So I figured, well, if people believe in shamanism, I could just get myself a rattle and save myself 7 years of study. So I went into computer science instead.
And given that you have an interest, though, in therapy, you're an NLP practitioner, you're a hypnotic therapist, why stop psychology?
Because it didn't seem to be very effective. I found, by luck, looking for hypnosis, a cure for phobias on the net, an NLP technique. And this NLP technique I tried on my father, who had a fear of flying, and hey, it took 10 minutes to do, and it worked. So I went to study NLP and hypnosis.
Now, for the benefit of our listeners who may not be familiar with NLP, can you tell us exactly what NLP stands for, and what is NLP?
NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is using language to change your neurology, or your thinking. So if people are into any kind of therapy system, it's a cognitive behavioral system. That means how you think and how you act. That's what it focuses on. And it's a short-term therapy system which produces changes basically in, 3, 4, up to 6 sessions. You wouldn't go 10 years into NLP, for therapy. Just a couple of sessions and you solve that one problem, and then you solve this other problem. But as I said, for phobias, that's 10 minutes.
So from there, is that when you started to get really involved in the study of NLP and hypnosis?
Well, first I needed money to take schooling in NLP. I got a job as a computer science teacher in a technical college for about 4 years. And that was fun. I like working with computers. I like working with people. And I'm a real ham. So I just loved being a teacher. I would come in every morning, and there was a captive audience for all my bad jokes. And then I would start warping their minds by explaining to them, we're going to learn binary today, and by the end of the day, you're going to come home and tell your family that 1 + 1 = 10. And they're going to be so confused. So I just love warping young minds.
Yes, I can definitely see that from this conversation.
It was fun. And that gave me the money to take some schooling in NLP and hypnosis.
Where did you study that, and how long did that training take?
The trainings are done in weekend intensives. And I took my basic training in Montreal, and I took master level training in the US.
How long was that?
We're talking about 20 or so days of training per level. So it's a fairly short training, but it's actually very expensive. And it actually works very, very well.
Now let's turn this over a little bit more towards your business. Tell me about the day-to-day routine that you're in as an NLP practitioner and hypnotherapist.
Well, first, we have to end the teacher part, which is when I wasn't able to pay my rent, and I told my boss to, well, find someone else, and started my own business. Now, what I do in my business, basically it's based on a website. So people find my website usually by doing a search on Google, and they come to my website. They look around. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of text, a couple of images to make it pretty, but mostly it's text. Nothing really fancy, just a lot of interesting things to read. And because I have a lot of text, search engines like me. So a lot of people come and visit, find what they like, and email me and ask for a session, ask for CDs, hypnosis CDs, and that's how it starts.
What can you tell me about the type of work you do? You do have a specialty.
Right.
In hypnotic transformations. What can you tell me specifically about hypnotic transformations and why you've chosen this as your core?
Well, the main reason is I find hypnotizing women to be really sexy. I mean, if you're attracted to women, who hasn't thought that it would be nice to be able to just hypnotize a beautiful woman into doing everything you want?
You know, this sounds almost a little scary here. Have you ever had any, resistance from this sort of thing?
Not that they can remember. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble. So this is going to be the last show that we do here on this station.
No, actually, I can't have anyone do anything that they don't want to do. No matter how deep in trance you are, you can always accept or reject a given suggestion. If you accept it, you tend to go deeper into trance. If you reject it, you tend to come up out of trance. So this is a fun fantasy. And there's, the erotic mind control story archive on the net that has all kinds of fun fantasies about that. But I can only actually hypnotize someone who wants to be.